toward financial wellness. Reach out to them for advice at 855-DON-GINO. And now back to your hosts, Don Getling and Gino Franti.
Well, top of the day to you on this fine Saturday, and you're here with the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show right here on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. We're over 5 years now, almost 5.5 years now. Don Getling and Gino Franti have been bringing you what you need to know, want to know, and should know about real estate and finance, your community, and so much more. And you can find out more. In fact, why don't you join us at the Vault Media Studio, our custom-built studio we built just for you, right here at Skyline Home Loans, located on Turney Road. That's right, where we help you with your dream of home ownership now since 1985. Skyline Home Loans, you can find out more at SantaClaritaHomeLoan.com. That's SantaClaritaHomeLoan.com. You'll find out more about our great group, all our great reviews. We're here for you to take care of your first purchase, your next purchase, or refinancing, especially now. Did you hear that rates are at near all-time lows again? Yes, you heard it. But the lowest rate is not always the best option, so make sure you reach out to us again, SantaClaritaHomeLoan.com. We save hundreds of dollars, sometimes with not the lowest rate, but with the best strategy. And today, we want to make sure you have the best strategies when it comes to your insurance options. And if you go to donandgino.com, click on the live streaming button, and you will see our very handsome, very buff, lifts trucks for a living, Scott Zimmerman that works out with us over here at Afterburn Fitness, but also he's our chosen insurance specialist with over 26 years experience. And he's part of America's Professional Resource Group that we talk about, which are the best professionals we can find and put together for you right here in Santa Clarita. You can find out more about that at aprgi.com, aprgi.com. But for now, go to donandgino.com, donandgino.com. Click on the live stream button. Scott, wave to our guests. We have 3 HD cameras right here in our studio, so you can join us. And that's the best way to join us. Also, you can click on our YouTube channel. So much information for you. How about that overload? But over 1,500 YouTube videos now with interviews with people just like Scott Zimmerman. We're corporate strategies. And Scott's going to go over, I mean, he's taking care of my insurance. He's taking care of Gino's. He's changing how we look at insurance. He comes here every couple months or so.
Sure, yeah.
And shares some great information. And I love your experience, Scott, because it's so easy for you. Like, what do we want to talk about? We can talk about anything, because this is what I do for a living. This is what I love doing, and you're an expert. So thank you for joining our show again, buddy.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So I have him taking Gino's spot because we wanted to class up the joint. And but we love your dedication, and thank you for handling my own insurance, because I know it took me a little while. I had insurance, but you said, hey, let's take a look at it. So I'm going to tell all of you out there, get a second opinion. Have it looked at. You don't know what you don't know. So when Scott looked at mine, he goes, well, you do realize that I can get you, add on an extra 5 years, add on some insurance, and lower your payment all in one. I'm like, how is that possible? He goes, well, let me show you how. And you did.
Right.
And I'm now more protected because I took that savings and I actually added on some additional insurance.
Right. You did the right thing.
So thank you.
You listened.
I did listen. And it was so easy, dude. You come in the office, you're like, oh, blah, blah. You ask a few questions, and then some lady calls me up and does the little test at my home. It was nothing.
Good.
Nothing at all. She took some blood samples and left, and Preferred Plus, baby.
I know. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you.
See, the Afterburn Fitness works out.
Yeah, exactly.
Trying to keep up with your butt over the last 4 years.
Oh, boy.
So what we wanted to talk about is I'm going to wait till Gino might join us for the next segment. He's helping one of our customers get into their brand new home. So that's important, obviously. But let's start, instead of the one-size-fits-all, because I know Gino wanted to talk about that, let's talk about something that's near and dear to our hearts, because we hear a lot about it. We also have Miles McNamara that comes on with Comfort Keepers in-home care. And it's amazing how many of us, you, are going to have to deal with our aging population, meaning whether it's your grandfather, your parents, you. A lot of times you don't think about you. And Scott, you always bring us some things we need to think about when it comes to long-term care and preparing for that, because Chris Ingram, who works out with us and is a good friend, our financial planner, talks about how many families save up for 20, 30 years for the retirement and lose it all in a matter of years because they don't have long-term care because a catastrophe happened of some sort. And a lot of us are going to, unfortunately, have to deal with that. It happens to some of us.
It happens to a lot of us. You want to hear the statistics, actually?
There we go.
Okay.
I love statistics.
So, me too. Okay, so statistically, 1 out of 2 people will need long-term care after the age of 65.
So one of us will.
Yeah, who's it going to be?
I know.
Yeah, okay.
Well, we go to
I hope
Afterburn
it's not-
Fitness.
yeah.
Hope it's somebody
Hope
else.
it's not one of us.
Yeah.
But yeah, statistically, 1 out of 2 will need it after the age of 65 for an extended period of time.
We have Furman in the house. Furman, maybe it's you. We don't want that on anyone.
No, I don't want it. It's the worst thing. Nobody wants to do it.
Right.
We talk about long-term care a lot because you should protect it. If you have assets to protect,
Yes.
that's when you need long-term care.
Well, your family. I mean, it's devastating. You think, well, maybe it won't happen to me, or maybe something will help, or my savings will take care of it. But long-term care is expensive.
And the rates are
It's like 50 to something grand a year, right?
Easily, way more than that actually. So there's home health care, there's nursing care, there's all types of care. But there's also a whole bunch of different types of facilities. Lower end facilities that are on the lower end, which range between around $4,000 a month, to the high end. So it could be $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 a month today, and the rates keep going higher.
Well, and here's the thing, too. I mean, I know my dad was paranoid about becoming debilitated, and not for himself as much. He didn't want to go that way, but he was also more concerned about 2 things. He told me all the time, he goes, man, something happens to me, just figure out a way to pull that plug. He goes, because I don't want to do 2 things. I don't want to drain all my savings that I worked so hard for, and it goes away because something happens to me. And 2, I don't want you guys dealing with it.
Right.
I don't want you guys having to either. And if we don't have the money, I don't want you guys have to take care of me because that changed your whole lifestyle. He goes, I want to make sure I'm prepared for you guys so this doesn't happen to any of you. And you can make an easy decision by saying, hey, I have long-term care. Get me a nice facility. I've been paying for it. And it won't drain out all my savings and burden your entire life. Right?
I agree. And you just mentioned about your dad. I write blogs every once in a while. I just wrote one recently, and it said I think the title was do you want your kids to have to wipe your butt? That was like the title of it because
I like it.
Yeah, it's the truth.
Right.
I mean, it's a difficult time when your parents go through this, and who's going to take care of them if you can't? You have to hire somebody, which is really expensive. But if your parents don't have any money, then you're doing it for them, and it's really hard. I've seen
It's
it
got to
happen.
be uncomfortable for both sides.
Both sides, for sure.
That's what Miles talks about all the time is that, that whole, and then it's also you're trying to take care of them, and there's that battle of what they can do, can't do, and you're trying to do what's best for them, but they don't care anymore. It's best to just prepare. So how do they prepare?
Well, the way to prepare, well, first off, a lot of people do think the government will pay for them if they need care.
Oh, there's a good topic to go
Yeah,
into.
they will. And, the government will pay for you if you don't have any assets. So if you have any assets, they make you spend all your money down. To almost
There you
any,
go.
and if you're married, you'll leave your spouse basically penniless. They leave you less than poverty level. You're allowed to keep certain things if you're married. Your spouse can keep a home and a car and a wedding ring. There's a few things they allow you to keep, but they make you spend all your money before they start paying.
Yeah, Chris just talked about that recently about how, when you're in love and you have your wife or your husband and one of them has a catastrophe of some kind, it could be a stroke, it could be whatever it is, or cancer or whatever. So basically, you will do anything for them.
Anything.
And you will try to make their life better. You will try to save them. You'll do whatever you possibly can to protect them. And that means you'll spend every dime you have to do that. The problem is that Chris was bringing up is saying, now what does he do?
Right.
He has no money left for his retirement at all. Now he has no retirement, no money left over because he spent it all doing what he feels. He doesn't care about himself.
Right.
I get it. But now he's host.
Right.
Because they didn't have long-term care for either of them.
Exactly.
He just thought I had savings, but he didn't realize how expensive medical bills can be.
It's terrible. It really is. You asked me do we have time?
Yeah.
Okay. You asked me what you can do.
Yeah, we don't want to talk to Gino anyway.
So there's a whole bunch of different types of long-term care insurance policies now. So there's regular long-term care insurance, and these plans are all you design them how you want them to be designed. You want them to pay for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 7 years. You can design it. You have certain waiting periods, 0, 30, 90 days, which just means you're going to pay the first 30, 60, 90 days of care. And you can also add on inflation protection, which I always think is important.
Oh, yeah.
So the daily or the monthly rate goes up each year you're not using it. If you ever need it, the care will obviously keep up with inflation, so it'll pay for everything or close to everything.
Now, we got one more minute before we go to break. Is it, you've done these policies for, you haven't, I know yourself.
Yep.
Is it affordable?
It can be affordable. Yes, it's affordable, and there's a lot of different hybrid plans. Maybe we can talk about it after the break. But there's
Yeah, we should.
okay. Yeah, there's some
Because,
ways.
I know a lot of you out there are going, well, I don't know if I could afford it. The thing we always say is, can you afford not to do it?
Right.
Because that's huge. I mean, I don't know. I have certain insurances, like I just now added earthquake insurance. It's such a relief knowing I didn't do the full-blown one. There's hybrid plans.
Right.
I have a hybrid plan that I feel now that if there's an earthquake, that'll at least help me put my house back together.
Right.
It won't rebuild the whole thing. Think levels? Oh,
Right.
I'm not worried about it. But if it cracks and this and that and the foundation has to be fixed, I'll have about 150, 200K to fix up my home. And I feel good about it now.
Right.
Same thing, I'm sure, with long-term care.
Right.
All right. Do not go away. We love being with Scott Zimmerman. He's going to give you great information that you need to know. If it's not for you, it's for your family. You've got to think about them. We'll be right back with the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show.